get banged on in Lancaster. Some Mexicans too, man. They were wearing red. I got the thing on me. It's broad daylight. Famous Bronco. Sharing them for 54th. Mind me. If they coming around that corner, they're coming around that corner to dump at you, man. They're not coming around the corner just to see who's hanging out. Every time them dudes came around that corner, it was about dumping. Wherever they caught you at. You already know what it is, man. John here, man. Diesel, man. Let's go. Straight to it, though, man. Let's go. And another one again. Yeah, so straight to it, man. I get banged on in Lancaster, man. Some Mexicans, too, man. They were wearing red. I swear to God. I was in the Bay for the first thing that came to my mind, like, no things, man. But they were Bloods. I was like, what? I looked at him. I'm geekied up, man. I got the thing on me. It's broad daylight. I got the thing on me. So, if push comes to shove, I'm going to handle my business, right? So, they bang on me, right, in Lancaster, right over there on I and 10th, over there, by the McDonald's over there. I go up there a lot, right? So, when they bang on me, there's a kid in the car. A kid. And the kid is throwing up signs and shit, like all kind of. And I walked him, I said, man, look, go take care of your kid, man. Go raise that kid, man. And they're like, what? I don't even know what Look, I was just thinking that I need to get away from there before I have to put a hole in one, right? So, but the reason why I'm doing this video is, right, is because that little boy, he's headed in the wrong direction. And more than ever, are you seeing raza involved in running around with black gangs? You see it a lot in the Bay Area where Mexicans, they run with the blacks on the street, but when it hits the pen, they either go north, and a couple of them have went paisa. I've seen it. So I don't know the situation in LA. If you're a blood on the street, or a Crip on the street and you're Mexican and then you get busted, what's the stipulation right there? I'm sure that back in my days in the 90s, it would have been an issue, right? But I said all that to say this, right? The youngster, his life is gone, right? Because that right there, that impresses him, that he looks up to that type of behavior, right? Now, he wants to be like the dude that was banging on me, right? And they probably had a gun, and whatever, right? It's so easy for Latinos to fall into the gang life. And the reason why I'm saying this shit, right, is because I'm going to tell y'all a quick story real quick with my son. And why, especially back in them days, like in the 90s, Latino kids were doomed and more likely were going to get involved in gangs. There was just no way around it. Especially if you were in the hood, right? So, we on 3-9, right? My son is on the porch playing. He's got to be about 2-3 years old. On the porch playing. A Bronco comes through. Fruitvale and 54th in them. The famous Bronco. Sharing them for 54th. They come around that corner. Mind me. If they coming around that corner, they're coming around that corner to dump at you, man. They're not coming around the corner just to see who's hanging out. Every time them dudes came around that corner, it was about dumping. Wherever they caught you at. So they come around that corner, right? And I said, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. My homeboy Lazy immediately grabbed that thing and started and starts dumping at the Bronco as they pass by. Why they didn't shoot? Why they didn't shoot back? It's a question that's I've always asked myself, because my son probably could be dead right now. And you know, if my son would have kept seeing that type of lifestyle, he probably would have got involved in the gangs too, right? Especially like going to the funerals, and every time he went to a funeral and I was locked up, all my homies would be like, "Oh, you Lil John's son? Yeah. You Lil John's son. Lil John's your dad, right?" And you know, he would get a lot of praise from a lot of my homeboys, right? You know, but I'm glad that my kids didn't take that route. You know, I got 3 boys. None of them took the gang route. They went the hustle route, which is a lot better. I'd rather you be in jail for getting money than for gang banging for nothing, right?
Man,
so,
special shout out to my boys, man, Juan, John, and Jesse.
The Norteños drive by, and my son was on the porch, right, playing, and my nigga grabs that thing and starts busting at them, right? But they didn't bust back. I'm assuming they probably seen the little boy out there, and that's probably why they didn't shoot. I don't know. But I know they weren't just driving by just to drive by to see who's out there hanging out, because that's not the type of dudes them dudes were. Them motherfuckers, every time they came around, they was coming around dumping, straight up. But the reason why I'm talking about this is because if you're a father, if you're Hispanic, black, whatever, whites don't seem to get involved in gangs unless they're being raised around like a black neighborhood or a barrio or something, right? Most of the whites, their crimes doesn't have to do with gangbanging. It's usually something else. But raza, we get consumed by the gang shit, especially back then. Not now. Now social media done took over. So these kids are following what's trending on social media. That's what they want to do. Whatever they see on social media, that's what's popping, right? But back then there was none of this. So whatever they see in the hood, that's what it was, right? So it was easy for Latino kids to get involved into these gangs, right? But it's crazy because, like I said before, if you see me, I keep moving around. That's because my back's aching. Boy, I'm getting old, man. I'm just saying it's because I told you I got the bullets back there, right? So, I mean, that little kid banging on me, right? I'm like, all in red and blood, talking about he was blood, Suhu and all that, whatever, right? Throwing gang signs, right? I'm like, man, what the fuck's going on, right? And I could have easily, you know, but there's a kid in the car, it's broad daylight, and I told you how I feel about that. You got to know when it's okay to pull that thing out, man. A lot of people just pull it out whenever, and then you're in jail looking at life. All right? I'm just saying, though, right? So it's a sad situation when you see young kids gang banging. When I see young kids gang banging nowadays, I look at them, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Because it's not cool no more. Gang banging is played out. It really is. There's no money in that. Right? But anyhow, we're going to end it right there, man. Like, look, man, if you got kids, man, look, raise your kids right, man. Get them up out of there. Get them up out the hood. If you're a father of some children, man, look, the best thing you can do for them is to get them involved in sports at an early age and push forward with that as far as you can. And leaving the neighborhood will minimize. Because people say that you become a product of your environment, which is very true. So if you get away from that environment and you go, you know, if you position yourself where you can live a better life and you can get up out of the ghetto or get up out of the barrio, get up out of there, man. You're going to have a better chance of your son not going in the wrong path, right? Because more than likely, a Latino kid or a black kid or whatever type of kid, if you're raised in the barrio, in the hood, you're going to get involved with the activities that are going on in that section, right? And you're probably going to become from that section, right? So the best thing to do is to get up out of there, man. And, you know, I'm glad mine's didn't turn out game bangers, man, because, man, that would have been horrible. I got 3 of them. Salute to all 3 of my boys for going the right way, man. Thank God. With that being said, man, I'm gone, man. John Diesel, man. I'm up out of here.